Hey, what's up, everyone? Antonio Neves here. I'm the founder of Think Action, where it's all about transforming potential into performance. That means getting better. And we're going to get better today because right now I'm being joined by someone that I can call a friend. She's a marketing expert. She's the founder of BizStrong, and she's the author of numerous Dummies books. You know, those yellow ones out there. And the most recent one is Small Business Marketing for Dummies. Barbara Findlay Schenck, welcome to Think Action TV.
And I am happy to be here with you. Thank you.
Yeah, so you have written quite a few Dummies books. Just break it down real quick, some of the books that you've written in the Dummies library.
Okay, I basically think in 10-point lists. I've written, my first book was Small Business Marketing for Dummies, which came out in a second edition and just came out in its third edition, retitled Small Business Marketing Kit for Dummies, because it comes with a CD-ROM with all kinds of forms and all kinds of advice from experts in the world, including Antonio. So I was very pleased to have your input shared in the book as well as others. It's a very cool book. In addition to that one, I've written Branding for Dummies and Business Plans Kit for Dummies. I'm the co-author on that one. And I've written Selling Your Business for Dummies. So I'm a big fan of the Dummies brand.
You know, I didn't anticipate asking you this question, but being a former business owner yourself, you work with entrepreneurs and businesses now, you sold companies, you know how to negotiate X, Y, and Z, you have all this expertise. What have you learned about yourself in the process of writing these books? Have you been surprised about all the knowledge that you've garnered over these years?
You know what I've been surprised over is how much we all do things kind of by the seat of our pants, and when you're forced to tell people how to do it, you learn how to systemize it. And I've learned that once you systemize anything from building a brand to preparing a business for sale, everything gets easier. It's almost like making an outline before you start. And I think so many of us are putting out fires all the time, we just start. And as a result, we sometimes go down the wrong steps. And you wrote something recently, make a list, put down what you're going to do today, and then you'll actually work in a directed manner. And it's the same thing I've learned all these years writing these books, and that is figure out where you're going before you start the journey. And
so that comes in handy whether you're starting a business or you're beginning a career. Think about where you want to go, establish those goals, the outline, as you said. But when you think about small business marketing for a business, Barbara, how different would you say that is than, say, for an individual marketing themselves, beginning their career or reestablishing their career and getting their brand out there in the marketplace?
Well, in some ways they're identical. What is identical is that a brand is what other people think. Brands live in consumer minds. So when someone hears your name, whether it's a business name or a personal name, they unlock this set of things that they've been carrying around in their head, and that is your brand. And they've actually gotten those ideas more from what they've heard from others than what they've heard from you. People read the internet and other people's comments and other people's reviews more closely than they read marketing brochures or a marketer's direct message. So what you do affects who you are, whether you're a business or whether you're an individual. So it comes down to saying, who do I want them to think I'll be, and then start being that person, so that it will be a true thing in their minds.
I have a two-part question for you. You said a brand is basically what people think about you, which is exactly the truth. Now, for an individual, you know, you can't go to Yelp and say, what do people think about Antonio Neves? Now, you can go to LinkedIn and see an endorsement or a testimonial there. For that individual who is curious about what the marketplace, former colleagues, thinks about them, what's the best way to go about that? I know sometimes I send people out and say, hey, reach out to 3 to 5 people you worked with in the past and literally say, ask them some tough questions. When do you see me excelling? What do I do great? What do I struggle at? So how can we conduct our own market research?
Okay. The first thing I tell people to do is hit a search engine. Because most people, before they meet you personally, look you up online. So go to a search engine and see how you look. And you know, if you're on Google Chrome, you can hit that little wrench in the corner and go incognito, because Google will deliver you the results based on your previous searches. So if you click the little wrench and click incognito, it won't know who you are, and it will give you pure results that anybody will get when they're looking you up. And look and see what's there about you. If there's nothing, that kind of tells them, not a real big player. Or if there's a whole bunch of stuff but it's not credible or relevant, then you got to start building some links to shove those irrelevant things down further. And That's why you need a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, a Twitter feed, because those end up on top, and they are things you can control about yourself. So that's the first thing to do, is see what they're going to see online, because as Jeff Bezos put it well, you are what Google says you are. The next thing you do is exactly what you said. You call a few people, and you don't lead them. In branding for Dummies, I have a chapter that deals with getting real about your brand identity, and it tells you a bunch of questions to ask, including, what 3 words first come to your mind when you hear my name? Or ask someone else to do it for you. When you hear Barbara's name, what are the first 3 things that come to mind? Maybe it's Dummies author. I'd be happy over that. Maybe it's someone who talks too fast. I wouldn't be real happy over that. So you learn what people say about you. If you're a business, then you also ask, what other businesses do you think of at the same time you think of this person? Because you kind of begin to learn what competitive rank. And then in Branding for Dummies, we tell them to ask, if you were a car, if I were a car, what car would I be? If I were a movie star, what movie star would I be? Because you can kind of begin to see what kind of image people are linking to your name. And those are important questions to ask.
Then you can pull out some of those keywords you're hearing that are consistent, add those to your headlines and your branding. And one of the key things for people that heard that, I think what they need to be willing to do is be open to learning. Of course, in situations like that, when we're getting information, one of the first things we want to do is get defensive. And, well, no, I'm not like that. Well, listen, they just said you're like that. 8 people said it. Maybe you are. So I invite everyone who's going to take that advice and reach out to individuals and say, hey, what do you think about me? What kind of car am I? Or when do you see me excelling? If you don't necessarily hear what you want to hear, make sure you're open to learning. Let's change gears, and this is the second part of that question. Barbara, if you had to break down key components, just key components of a strong brand.
Okay, there are really 4. Differentiation. What makes you different? What makes you relevant to your market? It's one thing to be different, and it's another thing to be relevant, and you need to be both. And what gives you esteem? Which is why everybody is writing a book or something that establishes their credibility in a way that builds esteem, or why we're looking to get a lot of publicity so we can say, as featured on, those deliver esteem. Knowledge. And then there's one other thing, and that is sort of the cool quotient. We all need a cool quotient. We need something that makes us, just think in this terms, interview worthy. What makes me interview worthy? Among a stack of job applicants or a stack of responses to a publicity query, what makes you stand out? What makes them say, this is the one I want to talk to? You need that kind of head-turning factor. And so once you have all those, there's only one more thing you have to do. Be consistent.
Be consistent. Consistency always reigns supreme, right?
Absolutely. The biggest mistake branders make is they think what they say is more important than what they do. People need absolutely every contact with a person to be consistent in order to build a brand. That means from what they see online in a search to what the invoice looks when it arrives.
Right.
All of that.
Yeah, I say consistency is always one of the things that's highly underrated. You can look in sports, and of course people are gravitating to that baseball player who's the MVP, hits 48 home runs, or the guy who leads the team in points on the basketball team, but they're forgetting about that guy that has a great batting average, the guy that gets on base on a regular basis, the guy that doesn't get injured. You forget about that guy and what their value is, but consistency always wins. On the flip side of building a strong brand, is there one thing, Barbara, over the course of your career that people consistently get wrong when it comes to branding that makes you laugh and makes you cringe every now and then?
Well, I do think they think that a brand is a logo. They think if they get a cool logo, they got a cool brand. No, a logo is a key. Think of it this way. A logo is a key that when people see it, it unlocks all those things they believe in the mind. So yes, you want a cool logo. You don't want a logo that says, oh, this is a lightweight, or a name or whatever else. But basically, your name or your logo simply unlocks all those images. Those images are created by customer experiences, or if not customers, target market experiences. So absolutely everything a person gets through dealing with you needs to be consistent. That's where the mistake happens.
I'm laughing as you say the logo because I think about a lot of the young entrepreneurs that I work with, and they spend so much time in the beginning actually trying to get the logo right while not thinking about that outline we mentioned and systemizing and exactly what does this business do, how are we going to generate revenue. And I've been guilty of that myself in many ways, just trying to get a hot logo out there. But guess what? Logos don't bring in dollars and cents, I guess, right away. It makes a difference. This is my last question for you, Barbara, and that is, of course, when you have a business and you have a strong brand, you want to develop relationships with your consumers, people who are going to buy your products or services. Of course, as individuals, we want to develop relationships as well, people who trust us, who know that we are go-getters and we're going to get the job done. So any recommendations you have that comes from a marketing perspective, how to go about building really strong relationships?
I think you need to build your relationship on the foundation of something no one can take away from you. So you don't build your relationships based on your job title. You might want to quit. The company might go out of business. Build your brand and the relationships that that brand fosters around something that's really core to you and not to someone else. I call it a transportable brand or factor. So your LinkedIn, on your LinkedIn page under your name, it doesn't say Vice President of XYZ. It says the best darn social media expert you're going to find, or whatever. Something that is about you that you can take with you wherever you go. And that's what people trust. And therefore, all of a sudden, if they find out you're not with company XYZ anymore, they didn't just get the rug pulled out from under their feet, because you're still you. You're still the best darn social media expert they're going to find.
Right. You are not your job title. You're far beyond that. And Barbara, I got to thank you so much for all of these nuggets of wisdom that you provided to me, you provided to my audience, and she's been giving this to me for years, guys. Just great information, so much appreciation for you. Listen, check her out at BizStrong. Also, you can buy her brand new book, Small Business Marketing for Dummies. She has a whole library of books available that can be a resource to you if you're a business owner or just an individual beginning or reestablishing your career. Allow the principles that she teaches work for us as well as individuals. So Barbara, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to touching base again soon.
I was happy to be here. Thank you.